Well, I don't need an introduction, so I'm here. I'm Bob. I'm talking. You're going to join me and either pay attention or nod off. Either way is fine. Get what you need. I woke up this morning, and it was good. It was very good. I like waking up. I wake up, I look down at the grass, and I know, hey, I'm still here. It's a good thing. Wow. Well, I woke up this morning singing in my head over and over, something good's gonna happen today. Something good is going to happen today. You know that song from somewhere. I can't remember any of the rest of it, but I have that part. And it just kept coming over and over. Well, let me tell you, some of the good has already happened. Holy Moses, that was amazing. That was beautiful song, beautiful music, beautiful treatment. All of it that's happened here this morning has already been something good. So if nothing else good happens today, you've had one thing. Maybe 5 or 6 already in this time together. Yeah, so it's a good thing. So I was thinking as you were singing, because I love that, towards the sun, away from the sun. We do it every day. I do it about every 45 minutes in my head. I don't know about you, but I'm towards the light, and then I'm away from the light. And I'm towards the light, then I'm away from the light. And I have all kinds of reminders that go off. I have little things on my phone that ding and bells that ring, and they go, oh, yeah, that's right, light. No, light. And that is all really, thank you. I will need that. Can you reach it? There we go. Look at all this help. Hey, Amy opens this place up, gets us started, picks it up, cleans it up, makes it wonderful. So it's a great thing. So it also occurred to me while you were singing, we do this toward the light, away from the light, on an annual basis as well. Our half of the planet leads toward the light in what we call summer, and away from the light in the winter. And right now we are headed toward our furthest away from the light. And we're not really further away from it, it's just bouncing off of us differently. And we're spinning around the light, the sun, and that sun is spinning around a whole nother bunch of other things, which are spinning around a whole lot of other things. You ever wonder why you're dizzy sometimes? You know, we just zoom in all directions. And light and dark and growth. We're all about growth. I love the wake up, show up, make a difference. Yeah. So we're in the business right now of waking up by going within and into the quiet, because the whole planet is getting quieter. You had that white fluffy stuff on the ground when I got here this time, and I'm like, ew. But that's part of it. That's part of this time of year, is that we go to the quieter, to the darker, to the place and the times where instead of all the excitement out there that makes a difference, we do it in here. Now, we've created all that excitement out there. Yeah, this is a busy season. Boy, you guys have schedules that are really, really busy, and so do I. And we do that because we're trying to make a difference and make up for the light that seems to be dissipating around us. I don't know if that's why we do it. That's just been my assumption about it. But I also love using this time of year to get quieter myself and to spend more time within, to turn off the lights sometimes and just have a candle going. And so as we move towards solstice, we are going to be moving in that direction. And today's talk is kind of the beginning of that, where we're surrendering that which no longer serves us, surrendering toward the light, surrendering to the newness, because light is life and always brings newness. Always have to be careful how I say that. Newness, not nudeness. That's a whole nother story. But I will tell you the short version. I served had served a center where the sheriff came in one day and wanted to inspect the whole place, and he and his little crew, and they went all over everything, and they came back and, well, looks like you guys are okay. We're like, why, what? And somebody had been told him that it was a nude thought place. We didn't do that there. New thought. Newness, which is very different. I think that may be my phone calling, telling me something good's happening. Anyway, here we are in this time of going quieter and I need to settle down and do the talk. And
I bet it's me.
It probably is you. You're a bright light all the time. What can I say? Surrender. 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 Holmes says that in a great little article in the How to Live the Science of Mind, Living the Science of Mind, and that surrender is a really important thing, and there's a great big surrender that we all do. And it's not that. Where did it go? And it's on my page right here. Here we are. I rewrote all this morning because last night's talk wasn't any good. The great surrender. So we see that losing our lives or making the great surrender does not mean losing anything worthwhile. What do you mean my life's not worthwhile? Parts of it aren't. Okay? It doesn't mean losing anything worthwhile, but getting rid of the things which deny the presence and the power of the Spirit right here on earth, right now. It is the great negation of life that we have to surrender. We have to surrender negating life. Duh. The doubts, the fears, the uncertainties, the coldness, the unkindness, the lack of love. That's what we surrender. That's the great surrender. And as we surrender that, we make room in our conscious awareness for all the truth of life, the goodness of life, the joy of life, reality of life. A story came to mind while I was in my dreams last night, and I kept saying, no, I don't need to tell that story. It's too intense. And they said, my spirit said, God said, yes. So I want to tell you a story. It's about the killing fields. Anybody know what the killing fields are? Some of you are old enough to remember. In the 1970s, the Khmer Rouge took over the country of Cambodia, and randomly getting rid of anyone who disagreed with them, anyone who thought they were wrong, anyone they thought would be a threat to the regime, they killed randomly almost 2 million people, a quarter of the population of that country, and buried them in fields, in swamps, in mass graves, wherever. Horrible. And I apologize for those who have trouble with these images. We're not going to stay there. What did happen, though, was I got to go there in 2010, and my purpose and desire was to visit the killing fields so that I could go sit and do prayer. I wanted to sit and pray. I wanted to sit and meditate. I wanted to feel the energy of that place and try to transform it. So I went to one of the fields, which is outside of Phnom Penh. I also did a whole bunch of other fun touristy stuff while I was there, but this was the day we went there. We had a tuk-tuk driver all week. His name was Vanna. He swore he was not named after Vanna White. However, he just a bright, cheery, wonderful guy, probably in his early 40s. And as we got closer, we were in a tuk-tuk. It was raining, and then the rain finally stopped. And you know what a tuk-tuk is, right? It's a little motorcycle with extra wheels. Great ride if you've got a strong back and a solid butt, but really fun. So we got there. We pulled into the killing fields, and Vanna said, "You go ahead. I'm staying here." So just on a gut feeling, I said, "Are your parents here?" And he said, "My parents are somewhere. We don't know who went into what field where. We just know they went." They came and got them in the middle of the night. His father was a professor at one of the universities. Got him in the middle of the night, my father and mother, and off he went and left Vanna, a teenager with two little sisters, to figure out how to live. And they did. And by then, when I met him, he was a very solid businessman with his tuk-tuk business. So I went on in. They have a big tower full of skulls. It's all kinds of horrible things you can imagine. And we walked through the forest area. They had little seats next to some of the holes, which were mass graves. They had all been excavated to take it away, but the land was still there. And I sat down, and I expected to feel all of the angst and all the sorrow, and I called in all of the guides and angels and helpers to be okay while I sat in this space. And all I felt was peace. And all I felt was lightness. And I got up and walked to the next big hole and sat by it, and I felt the same thing. And I walked through this whole area, this whole field area for about 2 hours. And by the time I walked out, I felt like I was floating on air. I was this tall, and I was transformed. And I got back to the tuk-tuk, and my partner that was traveling with me said the same thing. He says, I don't know what the big deal is. That was just wonderful. And I'm like, yeah, well, we'll find out. So I asked Vanna about it. And he looked at me for a minute. He said, you didn't feel sadness? I said, no. You didn't feel the horror that happened here? I said, no. And he broke into this big grin, ear to ear. And he said, you were in the giving fields, the forgiving fields. We as a people have worked on these places with our consciousness, with our energy healers, with all of our folks, since it happened, since we were liberated by the Vietnamese in 1979. And these places have been transformed, for those who can hear it, into the giving fields, the place where such new life has come out of. We as a people choose now kindness. We choose to treat one another differently. And yeah, there's a few folks in Cambodia that don't agree with that, but for the majority of people there, it is an amazing country to go to. You are loved, you are supported, you are appreciated. And it's the giving fields that do it. That's what I want for us. I want for you, for me, for all of us in this country, all of us in this world, is that we can take the killing fields, the places where our lives get squished, where we allow our own thinking to pull us in and shut us down, for those places to become the giving fields out of which we grow and become greater beings than have yet been. We are in a time where it is necessary for all the stuff to come up that's come up, because it's been hiding for a long time. We've done a good job of shutting a lot of things down and keeping it hidden. Now, I don't like a lot of what's coming up. Those folks who were getting dragged off in the middle of the night didn't like what was happening to them either. But the end result is a transformation. And this is where we are. And this is where we are in Ahava. We have some transforming to do, folks. You probably noticed that. Every time I come in, I hear people who used to be here, who's not here, who we want here that isn't coming, or that we want to come that hasn't come and showed up yet. All of those things. We are in a transformative time of change, of growth. And as the reading said this morning, you don't grow by pushing it away. You grow by accepting where we are and what is. And that's where we're starting. That's where we're moving. As we're moving now into the quieter time of the year to listen to our own hearts, because the answers we're looking for are not out there somewhere. They're in here, right here. And I mean right there, not just right here, but right there. Mine are in here, but yours are in your hearts, by the way. Just to be clear, I am not the Messiah. I have not come to save anybody. I'm staying off of all crosses because it's just not my job. It's your job to find what the truth of life is in you and for you. Ernest Holmes, with his last teacher was Emma Curtis Hopkins. Many of you probably heard of her, and if you've been around this teaching very long, you've probably taken a class on her life or on her teaching. What she says that we have to do is to, in moving into that giving field, she talks about forgiveness as surrender. That we surrender what no longer serves us into the greater good that does serve us. It's not about saying, well, what you did was wrong, but I forgive you. I don't know about you. My sister and I always had to forgive each other every night before we went to bed. If there had been any fight in the house or any disruption, and we always fought each other. We fought other people too, but we fought each other. And, man, Mother would make us line up, stand and face each other. I love you and I forgive you. And we'd do that. We'd sometimes spit on each other, and we did it if we were still mad, but we did enough of it. That's not the forgiveness I'm talking about. We're talking about the surrender that is forgiving what you no longer need and desire away to make room for something else. So Emma says this, what we got to forgive is that we got to give our old patterns of thought and behavior away. I've worked hard for these thoughts and patterns. I've been through 1,000 hours of therapy just to be able to function like this. You want me to give that away? I'm going to knock that over yet. We're moving. No, we're not. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, thank you. Someday I'll learn to stand still and talk, but not usually this lifetime. So we have to, we want to keep those patterns because they served us so well for so long. And we're not sure sometimes which ones we need to let go of and which ones we don't. So how about we just surrender all of it and let God choose? Like the old Baptist preacher that every Sunday he'd take the offering after it came up front and throw it up in the air. And deacons ask him, how come? What do you do that for? Well, God can keep his part, and the rest that falls down is ours. Let God choose. Let the spirit within you find out what if those old patterns are really serving you, which ones aren't. Yeah. What about patterns of thoughts and behavior? Ooh. Yeah, that. We talked about that. What is replacing that is true everlasting life. Restless heart. I got to back up because I got to preach it a little bit. Forgive me. They say one of our jobs up here is to comfort the, what is it? I lost it. Yes, right. Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. Thank you. So hang on, folks. Here we go. Nothing personal, just an observation. How many of you remember when the Beatles first showed up? Look at these hands. Hot diggity. All right, I see my friends. Yes. I hated the Beatles because I played rock and roll, and you only needed to know 3 chords and a bridge, and you could play any song that ever came out if you found the right key. Beatles came along and messed all that up. They used chord progressions from classical music and things that we didn't even know the chords for, 9ths and 7ths, and yeah. So anyway, I didn't like them to start with. How many of you remember Rotodexes? Okay, we got a few people. Yeah. Rotary phones. Party lines. Oh, yeah. My grandmother's favorite pastime was listening to it on the party lines. That's how she kept up with everything and went on. Told us all about it. 30-foot phone cords. That's how you found out where the phone is. You follow the cord, and you get to wherever your little sister or your big sister or you had left it, and get it back on the hook so people can call you. We still do that, by the way. Now I just ask Alexa, "Where's my phone?" She calls me. It's great. Yeah. So if you understand and remember much of that, I'm talking to you right now. This came through for me this morning, and I do two-way prayer a lot, where I write questions, and I tap into my higher self, and I get answers. And sometimes they're true, and sometimes they're not. You can decide. But I wanted to share it with you. Because, see, in our world today, One of the problems we get into for those of us who have been through so much, who remember Vietnam, who remember all that we've done and been through, and who fought so hard for the advances that we've made in our culture, it's hard to sometimes let that go and remember that that's the past. And it's our past. And we don't need for every young person to understand it. Like I said, I'm preaching. You know, we live in a world of adults now, real adults, honest to God, mature people, who are now taking charge of so many things in our world and our culture and doing it so beautifully that don't even know how to drive a stick shift. And they're doing just fine. They're not doing what I would do always, but they're doing just fine. They need our trust. I'm talking to you old guys like me. They need our trust, and they need our support. We've learned how to make money better than they've learned yet. Some of them do it really, really well, but some of them still need help. They need our trust, and they need us to realize that the things we resolved have been resolved in consciousness and don't have to be dragged up and done again. The stuff that's being dragged up to be done again now is done by a bunch of old guys who didn't get it right the first time. Maybe not. I don't know. Or maybe it's coming back up to be released. You know, that's a possibility. This is not a political discussion, by the way. This is about spirituality. God also said, our children, our young adults now, came in to this world and this life already being able and knowing the things that we had to figure out and create new awareness of. Still talking to the old guys. Yeah, they already got it. My 7-year-old grandson could program my TV, could program my cell phone. I mean, I couldn't do it. Help, here, just hand it to him. Ask him how he did it. He didn't know. He just knew how to do it. If you got kids around, you know this is happening all the time. See, it's our job to hold them in the light and the love as they make their way into creating this new world. Our young people are equipped for the world now in a way that we weren't. We weren't equipped to handle the multitasking that they do on phones, on computers. Computers? We dreamed about those. We didn't have them. Our kids are coming in already equipped to do it. And it's getting lots of strange names. And it sometimes gets diagnosed as a problem before it's recognized as a necessity. Things like ADHD, things like non-binary sexuality, things like sexual identity, things that are required now to live in this complex world that we've created and are handing off. And we need to honor that and recognize it and salute it and celebrate it. And now you youngsters in the room, anybody that was, I won't say when, anybody that feels like the youngster, I invite you to hear and to learn from the wisdom of those of us who have figured out how to solve problems and deal with humongous difficulties in life like the Vietnam War and like segregation, which isn't solved and isn't over, but it's come so far. It's come so far from where it was. I grew up in a world where the whole football team was white. Can you imagine that now? We need our people of all race and color and background. So let's honor and respect each other, not expecting each other to be like us. Oneness doesn't mean likeness. It doesn't mean we're the same or sameness. Oneness means we all are expressions of spirit in our individual uniqueness. And part of that uniqueness crosses boundaries of gender, crosses boundaries of ageism, You know, I hear in our organization, CSL, people talk about the ageism that's going on about younger people. And I want to put my hand up and say, what about us old farts? I don't ever get invited to do things anymore the way I used to. We have got and are working to balance so there is no isms. We want to get rid of the isms and embrace all people for who they are. They are divine ideas in the mind of God. Just as those amazing folks in Cambodia are divine ideas in the mind of God who taught me a lesson I will never forget about what matters and what matters and what matters. So, oh yeah, okay. So I want to make you a promise. Ahava, as you know, means love. It's a place to wake up, show up, make a difference. So here's the caution. If you keep hanging out here, you're going to change. If you like your life exactly the way it is right now and you don't want anything or anybody messing with it, you should probably leave and not come back. Sorry, it's not great advertising to say that. The truth is, though, if you stay connected with this community, you will grow and change. You can't help but do that. Because we teach positive thinking, because we teach you how to do that, and because even if you're not trying to do it, you're going to soak it up just hearing people express it. Back in the day when I was at a different center, we had a pretty busy office. So we had a couple of full-time people there, and then we had all kinds of projects and things going. And I would tell people, if you're unemployed and you're looking for a job, the way to get employed is to come hang out at our office and work with us for a little while. You'll come, you'll start doing stuff, you'll get creative, you'll start changing how you're thinking, you won't be sitting around, I can't get a job. And next thing, we could never keep any volunteers for very long if they were looking for work, because off they'd go to whatever it was that they were looking for. We are transformational people. We are people who claim love as our community. And love does not stand still. Love is a formative motion of growth, light and dark, around the planet, into the future, in a way that nothing else can. Growth can't go backwards. It can only go forwards. It might look like it's going backwards for a little while, and you kind of turn away from the light maybe, but the truth is, growth is always forward, no matter how chaotic it may feel. So, I want to close with one of my favorite Christian prayers. Forgive me. Don't forgive me, like it or not. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. You know, first time I used to believe this was about what I'm supposed to do out there and helping other people who hated each other sow love. It's about me. Where there's hatred in my heart, let me sow the love there. Where there is injury in my world, in my heart, in my mind, there's pardon. Where there's doubt, faith. Where there's darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. There's always a kernel of joy and sadness. Just have to listen for it. O divine master, O infinite creative world, infinite creative God, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console. How do you get more love? You give it away, not much try to get it. Yeah. To be understood as to understand. To be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, and in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying, the dying we started off talking about, that we are born to eternal life. Join me for a few moments of meditation and treatment. Infinite creator source. I open my mind, my heart, my truth to you. For in doing that, I'm opening it to myself. The power of light, the power of God, the power of life is in me. It moves as me and moves through me. And right now, by action of this treatment, I claim this reality for myself. Not a metaphor, not a philosophical idea, but a hard fact reality. God is doing something wonderful in the world, in, as, and through each of us. For God is its world. So God's doing something for itself, in, as, and through each of us, right here, right now. In this moment, something good is happening. In this moment, I choose to surrender my nonsense, my life-stealing false ideas, my life-stealing patterns and habits. I simply surrender them and trust the Spirit within me brings to me, through me, as me, that which I require in order to live this eternal life now. I surrender my attachment to the old, the attachment to what no longer serves me. I surrender my attachment to being understood, any attachment I have to wanting other people to go through what I did, to learn what I did. I surrender that. And I open myself to the new spirit of life moving in me, as me, and creating me in this moment. I open myself. And I let Spirit have its way with me, because I know it can only be good and gooder and better and better. Life is for me, and I surrender to life being for me. Release the nonsense of it being ever against me. Never again. I surrender any feelings and thoughts I have about my physical self, my body, being flawed, broken, is supposed to operate a certain way because of how old I am or how young I am. And I let the Spirit of life that sees and knows me as perfection permeate every cell, every part of my body. I stand in this truth, for it has been revealed as truth to me over and over when I turn toward it and accept and embrace. This is my truth. This is the truth of life, and in this truth I rest. With great joy, that deep, pulsing joy that's not about making noise. In that joy, with huge gratitude that I had the good sense to be born into this universe at this time, to be able to experience this, and gratitude that this is how life works. And so in this gratitude, I release it now, letting this be my truth, knowing it is now God's mind because it's the mind that I've expressed in. I let it be, and so it is.